The Silent Frontier. Commander Ilara Chen stared through the reinforced viewport of Orbital Station Vanguard, her dark eyes fixed on the swirling, azure atmosphere of Nova Terra below. The human colony had flourished for nearly 15 years under the twin suns of the Epsilon Eridani system, home to over 30,000 settlers from Earth. They'd built something beautiful here, cities that blended with the alien landscape, sustainable agriculture that worked with the native ecosystem rather than against it, a testament to humanity's ability to adapt and thrive. Another proximity alert. Commander, Lieutenant Marcus Davenport called from his station. Fourth one this week. Chen didn't turn from the viewport. Classification. Same as before. Energy signatures consistent with Vraxian scout vessels. They're staying just outside our sensor range, but they're definitely scanning us. A cold feeling settled in Chen's stomach. The Vraxians, a predatory race from the Outer Rim, had been pushing their territory closer to human space for months. Intelligence reports suggested they viewed younger species as resources rather than potential allies. Their philosophy was simple: consume or be consumed. How many? She asked. 3 scout ships, Davenport replied. But there's something else. His voice dropped. Long-range sensors detected a mass shadow at the edge of the system. It's big, Commander. Chen finally turned, her face carefully composed despite the alarm bells ringing in her mind. Define big, Lieutenant. Davenport swallowed. Preliminary calculations suggest a vessel approximately 12 kilometers in length. The control room fell silent. A ship that size could carry an invasion force capable of overwhelming Nova Terra's modest defenses within hours. Send a priority transmission to Earth Command, Chen ordered, and alert the colony governor. We may need to begin evacuation procedures. Commander, Communications Officer Lion Walsh interrupted, her fingers dancing across her console. I've been attempting to reach Alliance Command as well. They're refusing our requests for assistance. The United Galactic Alliance, a coalition of 27 spacefaring species, had grudgingly accepted humanity 6 years earlier. Earth was classified as a death world, a planet with environmental conditions so harsh that any species evolving there was considered unpredictably dangerous. Humans were tolerated but rarely trusted. On what grounds? Chen demanded. Walsh's expression tightened. They're calling it a localized territorial dispute. According to Alliance protocols, they won't intervene in conflicts involving non-core worlds without unanimous council approval. Unanimous. Chen almost laughed. The Krith hegemony will never vote to help us. They've been trying to sabotage human membership since day one. There's more, Walsh added quietly. The Alliance has issued a general advisory for all member species to avoid the Epsilon Eridani sector until further notice. The implications were clear. The Alliance was writing off Nova Terra and its 30,000 inhabitants. Chen clenched her jaw, feeling an old, familiar anger rising. Humanity had joined the Alliance, seeking protection and cooperation. Instead, they'd found bureaucracy and thinly veiled prejudice. Understood, she said finally. Lieutenant Davenport, begin defensive preparations. Officer Walsh, transmit everything we have on the Vraxian presence to Earth Command. Use the quantum entanglement channel. We can't risk interception. Over the next 72 hours, the situation deteriorated rapidly. The Vraxian scouts grew bolder, venturing closer to Nova Terra. Long-range scans confirmed the worst. The massive vessel was indeed a Vraxian dreadnought, accompanied by a fleet of smaller warships. Meanwhile, Earth Command's response was frustratingly vague. They acknowledged the threat, but offered little concrete assistance beyond authorizing the immediate evacuation of high-priority personnel. Standing in Nova Terra's Colonial Administration building, Chen delivered the grim news to Governor Callista Rodriguez. So Earth is abandoning us too? Rodriguez asked, her weathered face showing little surprise. Not exactly, Chen replied. They're sending transport ships, But our calculations show they can only evacuate about 17% of the population before the Vraxians arrive. Rodriguez looked out over the colony's central plaza, where families gathered, children played, and merchants sold their wares, all blissfully unaware of the approaching storm. 17%, she repeated softly. How do I choose which children live and which die, Commander? Chen had no answer. That night, from her temporary quarters on the planet's surface, Chen drafted a personal message to her former commanding officer, Admiral Takeda, now serving on Earth's Defense Council. It wasn't protocol, but desperate times called for desperate measures. Sir, she wrote, I understand Earth's official position, but you need to know what we're facing. These aren't raiders or pirates. The Vraxian fleet will reach Novaterra in less than 5 days. We have 18,000 children among our population. The Alliance has explicitly refused assistance. I'm not asking for a miracle. Just don't let these people die without a fight. She attached all the sensor data they'd gathered on the Vraxian fleet, knowing it might not make a difference but unable to do nothing. 3 days later, with evacuation ships loading priority personnel and the colony descending into barely controlled panic, Shen stood in Vanguard's command center, watching the tactical display with a sense of mounting dread. The Vraxian fleet had accelerated, cutting their arrival time by nearly 24 hours. Commander, Walsh called, her voice tight with tension. Multiple FTL signatures detected at the system's edge. They're not Vraxian. Chen moved quickly to her station. Alliance vessels. No, Mom. Walsh looked up, her eyes wide. They're Earth ships. Impossible, Chen whispered. Earth doesn't have a battle fleet. The Alliance Treaty forbids it. Yet the sensor readings didn't lie. Dozens, then hundreds of human vessels were dropping out of FTL, forming a defensive perimeter between Novaterra and the approaching Vraxian fleet. Most bore the markings of the Earth Defense Force, but others appeared to be hastily converted civilian ships, mining vessels with newly mounted weapon systems, scientific exploration craft retrofitted with military-grade shields. The central display flickered, and a man's face appeared, dark-skinned with silver-streaked hair and eyes that had seen too much war. Chen recognized him immediately. Admiral Tanaka, she breathed. Commander Chen. Fleet Admiral Kenzo Tanaka nodded. Sorry for the delay. It took some time to assemble the fleet. The fleet, Chen repeated, struggling to process what she was seeing. Sir, Earth doesn't have a fleet. The Alliance Treaty limits Earth to a defensive force within our home system. Yes, Tanaka finished. Officially, we've adhered to those restrictions. A grim smile touched his lips. Unofficially, we've been preparing for this day since we first encountered the Alliance's selective protection policies. Lieutenant Davenport spoke up, his voice filled with disbelief. Sir, I count over 300 vessels. How did Earth hide this from Alliance inspectors? We didn't build warships, Lieutenant, Tanaka replied. We built mining platforms with unusually robust point defense systems, research vessels with extraordinarily powerful engines, colony ships with hull plating that could withstand meteorite impacts. Individually, none violated the treaty. Together, he gestured at the tactical display. Together, they're a fleet, Chen finished, a surge of hope rising within her. Earth Command received your transmission 3 days ago, Commander, Tanaka continued. We've been analyzing the Vraxian capabilities you sent. Your assessment was correct. They are coming to strip this world clean. The Alliance knows this, but chose to do nothing. His expression hardened. Earth protects its own. But the consequences, Chen started, will be dealt with later. Tanaka cut her off. Right now, I need everything you have on the colony's defenses and the Vraxian approach vector. As Chen transmitted the requested information, Governor Rodriguez joined her at the tactical display, watching in stunned silence as Earth's secret fleet moved into defensive formation. I don't understand, Rodriguez whispered. Why would Earth risk war with the Alliance to save one colony? Chen remembered her academy history lessons, humanity's long, bloody path to unification, centuries of warfare, exploitation, and cruelty, but also of extraordinary courage, sacrifice, and eventual harmony. Because humans learned the hard way, she replied softly. Either we all matter, or none of us do. The communication channel crackled again as Admiral Tanaka addressed not just the command center but the entire colony. People of Novaterra, his voice rang with quiet authority. This is Fleet Admiral Kenzo Tanaka of the Earth Defense Force. The Vraxian fleet will reach your world in approximately 18 hours. They come seeking conquest. They expect to find an undefended colony abandoned by its allies. His pause was deliberate. Instead, they will find us. Chen watched as the tactical display updated, showing Earth's ships arranging themselves into a multi-layered defensive formation that she didn't recognize from any standard military textbook. It was unorthodox, adaptable, quintessentially human. Evacuation efforts will continue, Tanaka continued, but not as a retreat. We stand with Novaterra. We fight for Novaterra. His final words echoed through the command center and across the colony below. The galaxy is about to learn what happens when you threaten a world of Deathworlders. The first salvos were fired 12 hours later. Deathworlders rising. Admiral Kenzo Tanaka stood on the bridge of the EDF Horizon. His flagship converted from what was once Earth's largest stellar research vessel. Around him, officers monitored battle stations with practiced efficiency, despite having never fought in actual combat. Until 6 years ago, humanity had been alone in the galaxy, focusing their conflicts inward. Now they faced an alien armada intent on consuming the human world. Vraxian fleet has entered weapons range, Admiral, reported Commander Isabel Santos, his tactical officer. They're deploying in standard Vraxian assault formation, center mass protected by interceptors. Tanaka studied the holographic display. The Vraxian ships moved with perfect coordination, their formation designed to maximize firepower while protecting their larger vessels. It was textbook military strategy, and therein lay their weakness. Status of Operation Thunderbolt, Tanaka asked. All units in position, Santos confirmed. Mining drones are ready. Tanaka nodded. Begin Phase 1. Across the human fleet, commanders received the signal. What appeared to be a disorganized retreat began as smaller vessels broke formation, seemingly fleeing in panic. The Vraxian vanguard accelerated in pursuit, exactly as Tanaka had predicted. Their species evolved as pack hunters. They instinctively chased wounded prey. On the colony surface, Commander Chen watched from Vanguard's command center as the Earth fleet appeared to scatter. What are they doing? Governor Rodriguez asked, fear edging her voice. Not retreating, Chen assured her, recognizing the maneuver from her military training. They're baiting the trap. In space, the pursuing Vraxian ships suddenly found themselves surrounded as the retreating human vessels abruptly reversed course. Simultaneously, hundreds of what appeared to be mining drones, devices designed to break apart asteroids, activated within the debris field where they'd been hidden. Each drone carried a minimal payload, but their combined detonation created an electromagnetic pulse that rippled through the Vraxian formation, temporarily disabling their shields. Now, Tanaka commanded. The human fleet opened fire with weapons that had been disguised as scientific instruments and industrial tools. Rail guns concealed as telescopes, plasma lances built into mining equipment. The first wave of Vraxian ships shattered under the unexpected barrage. Direct hit on 27 enemy vessels, Santos reported. Their formation is breaking. But the advantage was temporary. The main Vraxian fleet adjusted quickly, their biological ships already adapting to the human weapons frequency. Phase 2, Tanaka ordered, his voice calm despite the stakes. The human fleet regrouped into a new formation, one that seemed to make little tactical sense, until dozens of retrofitted cargo ships moved into position behind the defensive line. These vessels had been hastily equipped with massive electromagnetic accelerators, technology Earth had developed for launching satellites before they achieved efficient spaceflight. Firing solutions locked. Santos confirmed. Execute, Tanaka commanded. The cargo ships unleashed their payloads, not missiles or energy weapons, but thousands of kinetic projectiles, simple metal rods, accelerated to a significant fraction of light speed. Against the adapted shields of the Vraxian vessels, energy weapons were losing effectiveness. But nothing could fully negate the laws of physics, mass times acceleration. The rods tore through the larger Vraxian warships, puncturing their biomechanical hulls. On the colony surface, Chen received urgent communication from Admiral Tanaka. "Commander, we've created a temporary advantage, but it won't last." Tanaka's voice came through with bursts of static. "The Vraxian vessels are already adapting to our attack patterns. We need more time." "What do you need from us, Admiral?" Chen asked. "Intelligence indicates the Vraxian fleet operates on a distributed neural network. Their ships communicate through quantum-entangled biological nodes. We've identified what appears to be a central node ship on the planet's dark side. Our vessels can't break through to reach it." Chen understood immediately. "But a ground team might." "Exactly. Can you assemble a strike force?" Chen looked around the command center, at the colony defenders and the handful of Earth military personnel who had arrived on the early evacuation ships. "Consider it done, Admiral." Within 2 hours, Chen led a small team through Novaterra's rugged northern highlands. The Vraxians had landed secondary vessels on the planet's surface, while their fleet engaged the humans in orbit. The central node ship had established position in a valley 20 kilometers from the colony's edge, just close enough to coordinate the ground invasion, but far enough to avoid direct confrontation. Approaching the target, Chen whispered into her comm unit as her team crested a ridge overlooking the alien vessel. It pulsed with bioluminescent light, surrounded by Vraxian ground troops, insectoid creatures over 2 meters tall with multiple limbs and carapaces that shimmered with an oily iridescence. "I count at least 30 guards," Lieutenant Davenport reported, scanning through his binoculars. Chen nodded. "Too many for a frontal assault." She studied the alien vessel, noting how it had partially embedded itself in the soft soil. "We go under." Using handheld mining equipment, tools designed for Novaterra's geological surveys, Chen's team tunneled beneath the alien perimeter. Every member of the strike force carried a specialized disruption device designed by Earth's scientists based on the Vraxian data Chen had transmitted days earlier. Above them, in space, the battle had reached a stalemate. The human fleet had suffered significant losses, but held their defensive line around Novaterra. The Vraxian ships continued to adapt to each human tactic, their biological technology allowing them to evolve countermeasures within minutes. On the Horizon's bridge, Admiral Tanaka received a priority communication from an unexpected source. "Admiral," the communications officer reported, "we're being hailed by an Alliance vessel that just entered the system." Tanaka's expression darkened. "Put them through." The holographic display flickered, revealing a tall, slender alien with silvery skin and 4 eyes arranged in a diamond pattern. An archivist, one of the Alliance's founding species. "This is Observer Xanfar of the Alliance Diplomatic Court." The alien spoke in flawless English. "Earth vessels, you are in violation of Treaty Section 7. Your unauthorized military presence in this system is an act-off." "This is Admiral Tanaka of Earth Defense Force," Tanaka interrupted. "Observer, with all due respect, we are currently defending a human colony from extinction after the Alliance explicitly refused assistance. I suggest you withdraw immediately." The archivist's upper eyes narrowed. "The Alliance Council determined this was a regional dispute not warranting intervention. Your unilateral military action threatens the stability of the entire sector." "The stability of the sector?" Tanaka's voice remained controlled, but his eyes flashed with anger. 30,000 human lives are at stake. Where was your concern for stability when the Vraxians began their approach? Where was Alliance protection when we requested aid? The Alliance must consider the broader implications. No, Tanaka cut him off. The Alliance chose to abandon Novaterra because humans come from a death world. Because you fear what we might become if we survive. Well, observer, now you're witnessing exactly what Deathworlders do when threatened. We fight. Not just for ourselves, but for each other. On the surface, Chen's team had positioned their disruption devices beneath the Vraxian node ship. The alien vessel's biological structure pulsed above them, anchored to the ground by massive tendrils that burrowed into the soil. Charges set, Davenport confirmed. Detonation in 30 seconds. As they retreated to safe distance, Chen's comm unit crackled. Commander, Admiral Tanaka's voice came through. Be advised, an Alliance observer vessel has entered the system. They're demanding we withdraw. Chen almost laughed at the absurdity. A bit late for diplomacy. Indeed, Tanaka replied. But there's something else. Our sensors are detecting unusual activity from the Vraxian dreadnought. They may be preparing their final assault. The disruption devices detonated, not with explosive force but with precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulses designed to interfere with the Vraxian neural network. The node ship convulsed, its bioluminescence flickering erratically. Throughout the system, Vraxian vessels suddenly lost coordination, their perfect formations dissolving into confusion. It's working, Davenport exclaimed, watching through his binoculars as the Vraxian ground troops began moving erratically, losing their synchronized patterns. Chen allowed herself a moment of hope before her comm unit erupted with urgent signals. Commander, Tanaka's voice was tight with tension. The Vraxian dreadnought has broken formation. It's on a direct course for the colony's main settlement, a suicide run. Our vessels cannot intercept in time. Chen watched in horror as her tactical display showed the massive Vraxian vessel, nearly 12 kilometers long, accelerating toward Novaterra's population center. If it impacted, the resulting explosion would vaporize the colony and everyone in it. In orbit, Admiral Tanaka made a decision that would alter the course of galactic politics forever. He opened a direct channel to the Alliance observer vessel. Observer Xanfar, he said urgently, the Vraxian dreadnought is attempting to destroy the colony with a kamikaze attack. We cannot stop it alone. The archivist's expression remained impassive. This is precisely why the Alliance avoided intervention. The Vraxians consider defeat unacceptable. They would rather destroy what they cannot possess. Then help us stop them, Tanaka pressed. Your vessel carries phased displacement technology Earth doesn't possess. You could disrupt the dreadnought's trajectory. The Alliance cannot directly engage. 30,000 lives, observer. Tanaka interrupted. Children, families, is your neutrality worth that price? For several agonizing seconds, the archivist was silent. Then, to Tanaka's surprise, another voice joined the communication, deeper, resonating with a harmonic quality. This is High Commander Zorlath of the Sentinel Protectorate, the new alien announced. Behind the archivist, another figure appeared, bulkier, with scared blue-gray skin. We have been monitoring this conflict. The Earth vessels fight with honor to protect their kind. Tanaka recognized the species. Sentinels were one of the Alliance's military powers, a species respected for their strict code of warfare ethics, despite their fearsome reputation. The Alliance Council did not authorize Sentinel intervention. The archivist protested. The Sentinel Protectorate reserves the right to act when innocents face extinction. Zorlath responded. Admiral Tanaka, coordinate your fleet's movements with ours. Together, we will intercept the dreadnought. What followed was an unprecedented moment in human-alien relations. Earth vessels fought alongside Sentinel warships, their combined firepower finally overwhelming the Vraxian dreadnought's defenses. When the massive alien vessel finally fragmented under the assault, its remaining pieces safely directed away from the colony, cheers erupted across the human fleet. On the surface, Chen and her team watched the distant explosions lighting up Novaterra's sky. The remaining Vraxian ground forces, cut off from their command network, retreated in disarray. We actually did it, Davenport whispered in disbelief. Chen nodded, her eyes on the heavens where human ingenuity and determination had changed the course of history. 3 days later, Commander Chen stood in Novaterra's central plaza alongside Governor Rodriguez as Admiral Tanaka arrived on the surface for the first time. With him came an unusual delegation, High Commander Zorlath and 3 other Sentinel officers. Admiral, Chen saluted as Tanaka approached. At ease, Commander, Tanaka replied, his usually stern face showing rare satisfaction. Your ground team's actions were instrumental in our victory. The colony owes you its existence, Governor Rodriguez added, extending her hand to both Tanaka and, after a moment's hesitation, to Zorlath. All of you. The Sentinel commander regarded the human gesture curiously before carefully returning the handshake with massive 6-fingered hands. Your species fights with unexpected strategy, Zorlath observed. The Alliance classified Earth as a death world, assuming this made humans dangerous and unpredictable. They failed to understand that surviving harsh conditions creates not just strength, but wisdom. What happens now? Chen asked. Earth violated the Treaty of Sol. The Alliance won't simply overlook that. Admiral Tanaka exchanged glances with Zorlath before answering. The political situation is evolving. The Sentinels have formally recognized Earth's right to maintain a defensive fleet beyond our home system. 3 other Alliance species have already indicated their support. And the Vraxians? Chen pressed. Retreating, Tanaka confirmed. But more importantly, the Alliance can no longer ignore the threat they pose. The Sentinel Protectorate has called for a special council session to reassess Alliance defensive protocols. Zorlath's deep voice rumbled in agreement. For too long, the Alliance has hidden behind bureaucracy, while emerging species suffered. The Deathworlders have shown us another path, one where we stand together against threats, not cower behind political convenience.